Yeah, y'all know what time it is. Welcome, everybody. You know what time it is, man. It's time for Unk and Few Hoops edition, man. You know what time it is with your host with the most, man. You got your boy Jay over here. Big baby J, big stepper in the building. Yes, with the glasses on. Yes, looking fresh. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Wrong as hell on all my basketball takes, especially my recent ones, because I did not peep this. When we started the pod like a month and a half ago, type ish, man, season two, we did not see this coming, man. And I got my
Nope.
co-host with the most, man, El Jefe, the boss, man. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Yes, sir. Man, let's just get into it, man.
Yeah, yeah.
What the hell? What the hell? Actually, no, you know what? Let's not even start with that. Let's start with Spicy P, though. Let's start
Yeah,
with the
that's
spice. Let's
crazy.
talk about literally the Eastern
Yeah,
Larry O'Brien trophy winning Eastern Conference player of the playoffs, Mr. Spicy P. We got to start off with Spicy, dog.
yeah.
What did you think of that? What did you think of that first, of that utter domination that happened with the Knicks? Because the score didn't really tell the story, bro. Tell me your thoughts, brother, of the
No,
Knicks getting knocked off by the Pacers. Because you called it. You called it before me, bro.
you know what? I did, but I didn't think it was going to be the games were going to be as far fetched as they were. Like I thought they were going to
Mm,
be 2 point, 3 point games. At least
right.
that's what I was hoping because they matched up really well. But I don't know. I guess the momentum for the Pacers just carried them over, right? So kind of
Yeah.
crazy, kind of crazy. I didn't think they were going to get over Cleveland. I don't think we both didn't think they were going to get over Cleveland.
Nah, we're both on record saying that Cleveland was going to
Mhm.
finish it in like 5 or 6
Yeah,
because we had seen Cleveland look absolutely amazing. And
very much.
this team, man, the Pacers are on some other ish because the game was basically done in the third quarter because they kept on botching threes and fast breaks, and it was over. It was an avalanche, bro.
Hmm,
Yeah,
hmm. But that's Pacer basketball, right? That's how they've been playing throughout the playoffs. So,
yeah.
and I don't think teams are I don't want to say equipped to handle that style, but not a lot of teams play that fast, right? So I think that affected
Right.
Knicks for sure, who's a half court offense. But we'll see. OKC may be able to combat it because they're young, they're fast too. So we'll see.
Yeah. One thing I want to talk about, man. By the way, if y'all in the building, man, smash that like button, man. We stop playing with us, man. We giving you this consistent every Sunday, man. We've been committed. And I want to give a major shout out to my co-host, man, El Jefe, man. I got to clap for the OG. Been coming in, committing, giving y'all this content, roasting me about my LeBron James, uh, my LeBron James fandom, like giving pushback when I be wilding and going crazy. You know what I mean? Bro has been committed, man, and I appreciate him as a co-host, as my OG, man. Been a fantastic partner as we get close to the end of the season, bro. So major round of applause to the OG. You know what I mean? But the
Thank you,
thing
thank you.
is, there was another OG who was balling though, and that's OG Ananobi, man. He was the only person on the Knicks. I'm not even bullshit. That was actually playing great on both ends. Talking about
Mhm.
24 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. I think he had some blocks and some steals. He was giving a ton of heart on that
Right.
entire Knicks team. But the Knicks could not hang, man. They could not hang because every single time they got close, another Pacers player was getting buckets and he was getting off. Obi Toppin went off. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Nimhard went off. Everybody, look at the box score, y'all. Siakam 31, Naismith 10. Naismith had 5 steals, most of them on Brunson. You talking about Miles Turner? I gave you 10, but look at the pluses on this side, bro. The plus minus is a
Crazy.
crazy. Halliburton, he went crazy in the fourth quarter. You look at, I just talked about Obi Tom, and then this random Thomas Bryant. Yeah, this random MF, he was a Laker, former Laker. They gave him minutes, And Rick Carlisle, man, I'm gonna give, you know what I mean, my props when I give it. He was coaching a master. He played literally the bench of the Pacers. They were
Yeah.
getting hella minutes, man. You see a random MF on the floor. I've never seen you before. Balling. Balling. I've never seen. And then you see on the other end, Tibbs is like, nah, I'm not gonna play this, Emma. Like, bro, what are
Please.
you doing? Like, what's oh my god. What do you think of the coaching philosophy? Because Nick fans are saying they want Tibbs out, dog. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I think it was what's his name? Brunson said that he still has faith in the coach, right? So I don't
right,
know. I think it may have been a small collapse, obviously, on the part of the Knicks.
you're right.
But you can't take away the coaching of that guy right there. So it's you have to be able to trust your bench, especially in the playoffs. You can't go on a deep run in the playoffs
Right.
if you don't have trust in your bench. So you got to rest your guys, your main guys. You got to rest them. Obviously, not take days off, but give them
Right.
10-minute rests if you can. But um, so that was a master class, like you said, of coaching. So that'll help
My
in
thing is
the there
right.
you go. Yeah.
I wanna play a little clip here. I'm gonna play two clips as we go in. Y'all get in the comment in the chat. Let us know should Tibbs be fired or not because a lot of the Nick fandom people in the Knicks are doing a blame game. They trying to point as to who and what lost this series for them. Let's listen to Brunson.
Jalen, in terms of what Kat just said, you make the moves to win. There were obviously a lot of big moves this offseason. How confident are you that this group has enough to take that next step? And
The most confidence, overconfident. Seriously, I don't. There's not an ounce of any type of doubt that I'm not confident with this group.
Jalen, when you talk about the confidence, obviously, I feel like nobody takes more criticism than Tom, and this team obviously has turned around during his tenure. Do you kind of feel that going forward, he's the same guy to lift you guys the rest of the way, at next level?
Is that a real question right now?
Oh.
You just asked me if I believe that if he's the right guy.
Oh.
Yes.
Mhm.
Come on.
Yeah.
Brother, you gotta shut your BA up, man. Brother, you give him you want Tibbs to be the coach? Play defense. Help him. Oh my god, man. What's your
Yeah.
reaction to what he just said? I'm pissed, man. I'm cheesed. You know what
Are
I
you
mean?
pissed at Brunson?
I'm pissed at
Who you
Brunson,
met?
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like the reporter
Yeah.
had a point saying that the Tibbs did change that from
Yes.
Knicks were nobody a few years ago, right? Yes, he's made
Yes.
some mistakes, especially in the playoffs. Playing like last year, Brunson played like 47 minutes. Like it was outrageous. So
Yeah,
yes,
it was.
criticize that, but you can't just replace a coach that has helped you come back from a place that you were in a few short years. For me, I maybe it's one key, maybe it's just like the way he is coaching, and he needs to trust his bench more, right? So trading in the
Right.
offseason, trade a couple guys that are role players. They're gonna be able to help in and give these guys a rest, but not trusting his bench is a big problem. But at the same time, the Knicks fans are a little crazy. Let's be honest.
They are.
They'll
They are.
turn on a dime. So if you don't produce results that they like, they'll turn on you. But it's as long as the players trust the coach, that's the main part, and then you got to build from that. But
My thing is why I'm pissed at Brunson is that, bro, you have to do if you really are a Tibbs guy, right?
no,
And you
yeah,
really want to represent your guy properly, dog. Why would you play so bad on defense and have him jeopardize to lose his my thing is, right,
Hmm.
coaches can only do so much. They can only put you in a position to win. It comes down to you being on the floor. You know what I mean? And when you
100%.
are Jalen Brunson, that's why I was pissed at Jalen Brunson. I'm like, bro, what the hell? How you mad at the reporter for asking a very valid question, right? It's valid,
Yeah,
like you said, bro. It's a
yeah,
valid question. At the same time, brother, you are ruining as great as Jalen Brunson has been this entire play. He's been bad in this series, man. Turnovers. So many times he goes up the court with the ball. He's dribbling out the clock. Like by the time he gets a pass out, there's like maybe 10 seconds left on the clock, and he's doing this dribble. He's not getting a lot of assists. And you know, Jalen Brunson, they're going to double you. They're gonna they're gonna get you at the high court. You know what I mean? Right there, once you go half court, they're already on you. They're swarming on you. You're making Tibbs lose his job, bro. Him and Cat did pretty good, but not on defense. So you are jeopardizing Tibbs' chances of being the coach in the future. So you're getting mad at a reporter for doing his job, and you didn't do your job. Like, what are we on about? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? You know, I know he's frustrated. He just got an L, but like, what are we doing, bro? And that's what I don't like, man. Take some accountability, fam. They were targeting you defensively. Do you know how many times they went after Jalen Brunson? Anytime they were driving to the hoop, they went after Brunson, and guess what Brunson would do? Cause a foul trouble. The only reason Tibbs played his defense, his bench, I think it was in game 4 or something like that, was because Brunson was in foul trouble. You know what I'm saying? It's like you know, I don't like the complaining, man. I don't like the complaining, man. And this actually leads to a video I want to show you before we move on to the next thing, brother. And I think it's something that might have been prophetic. Let me show y'all this.
You think the Knicks are here in the Eastern Conference?
Well, I certainly agree with you. They're not getting into.
By the way, fair use. This came out about early in this season. Becky Hammond was on not inside the NBA, my bad. NBA on ESPN. And we might touch on inside the NBA too later on today, though. Yeah, let's listen to what she has to say.
To that tier. They don't have enough personnel. They don't have the manpower that they need to hang with those guys. I think you're going to get a consistent team like they've been. They're a pretty good team. They're well coached. They're going to be on their defensive game. But at the end of the day, they don't have a dude. You got to have a dude. You got to have a 1A dude. And they're missing that at the end of the day if we're just getting down to brass taxes.
Whoa.
Sorry.
I didn't want to disagree with Becky today, but they do have that dude.
Who?
Jalen Brunson.
No, he's too small.
But here's the thing, and that's
Didn't they say about you?
But you know what?
They say that about you. You're a Hall of Famer.
I got a philosophy. Can I say my philosophy?
Go ahead.
If your best player is small, you're not winning. John Stockton, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash. You could go down the list. Steph Curry is the only
but he's not that small. He's not that small. He's like 6'3".
But also, though, I mean, he's the greatest shooter to ever walk the planet. He's in an outclass.
Okay.
But
the exception
is right.
Okay, but we're living in a new age. Okay, new day.
Unc, what do you think, man? OG, tell me what your thoughts are. Is Jalen Brunson too small? He's 6'1".
Like she mentioned John Stockton. John Stockton wasn't the best player on his team. Obviously, it was Karl Malone. He had MVPs, more All-Stars, whatever you want to call it. But Allen Iverson, yes, Allen Iverson was the best player on his team. He got them to the finals, but he didn't get past the Lakers. I think they lost to the Lakers.
They got blown out.
If I can remember.
4-1. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah,
but you know what I mean. Like, and he was scoring champ that year. So for him to be 6'1" in scoring, you know, that can happen. However, this league nowadays, you don't need a big man. You don't need, you know, a power forward. You can have a shooter like Steph Curry be a smaller guard, but he can shoot. But Steph Curry's in a different league, right? But they like having Cat Williams there. Cat Williams.
Shout out Cat Williams. Carl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Cat.
Having him as a big man, right? Yeah. Like, but he has to be more dominant. He can't be looking to pass first.
Oh my God.
Right? You're the big man. You should take control of the paint. that'll open up everybody else to shoot, especially nowadays when that's what the key is, right? Minnesota,
Yes.
like we'll talk about that later, I guess, but like,
Yeah.
man, I'm so depressed with Minnesota. Anyways,
Rudy go. Yeah, bro. I know. We're gonna talk about that later, man.
yeah, I'll talk about it later, but I don't think she's 100% wrong saying you need a bigger guard, but you need somebody who can take over a game. And Brunson
Yes.
may eventually be that guy, but he needs to have somebody else who's a threat offensively that can also dominate a game if need be, right?
Yes.
And Cat isn't that guy for him. So they need to find another player that has the ability to take over, but is okay to do that second role, like the supporting role type of thing, so that Brunson can shine a little more and have that confidence to be like, okay, I am the man here. So, but I don't know.
Yes. And the thing about Karl Anthony Towns is he gives you nothing on defense, man.
Yeah.
Literally nothing. And he's 7 foot. He's borderline 7 foot. If you're 7-footer center, who actually is very good, great shooter, actually at the center position, really good in the post. Actually, he's pretty good in the post. He does really well. And I wish that he went more to more down low. Even Shaq was talking about this. Get in the paint and dominate these guys and take over, because we've seen him do it, which makes this so frustrating, you know? And the thing is, his free throw shooting is all right. It's pretty good. But they targeted, I'm talking about Rick Carlisle and the Pacers, they targeted Brunson and Towns. Anytime they were driving to the hoop, they went at these guys because they knew they're horrible defenders. And when you have a guy like Jalen Brunson, because yes, Jalen Brunson can take over, but he can't do it by himself, like you just said. So Becky Hammond's point, I think she's half right, but also there's a lot of context around it, because a lot of these players who are a bit shorter, or like the best players on their team that were a bit shorter, and that did win, they had a all-around complete team. You know what I mean? And one of my best examples, well, he's not that short, but do you remember this guy? I'm gonna put him up on the screen. And he won in the mid 2000s with that dominant Detroit team, Chauncey Billups.
Oh, Chauncey
He was
Billups,
the best player on that team. Defensive-minded team, but he had Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, you know what I mean? Rip Hamilton. He had a lot of guys.
Yeah.
The Knicks don't
100%.
have enough guys. That's just the facts, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think, brother?
100%. No, totally. Like Ben Wallace was Defensive Player of the Year a couple of years in a row. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he was.
Rasheed Wallace, phenomenal player, and he's a very versatile, lanky guy. But like you said, these guys protected the rim. It was different, so they could affect the game by their defense. As we're right now, New York has nobody like that, right?
No, they don't. No,
that's the thing. Like, I honestly thought you were gonna put up Dwayne Wade up there.
Dwayne Wade? Yeah, Dwayne Wade was a shorter shooting. Yeah. I can even put up Dwayne Wade too. Actually, yeah, that's a fact. But think about it. Dwayne Wade won with Shaq, kind of losing at the end of his peak, and he had Alonzo Mourning basically about to retire. But Alonzo Mourning was still a great, defensive guy.
threat.
He was giving. Yeah. So Wade definitely. Yeah, he had help. He had the team. Yeah. And the thing is, Brunson can get there. He just needs guys. And that's the issue here, is that the Pacers have guys. Clearly, they have a ton of guys. And I'm going to tell you who the secret weapon is. You know what I mean? This is the secret weapons. It's this guy. It's the Pops. It's the daddy, bro.
Yeah. Is he free now, or what? Is he allowed back in the building?
They allowed him in the suites. He's on parole, man. They put him on parole right now, bro.
That's crazy.
Oh man.
But
what did you think about that whole thing, bro? Because we talked about it earlier this season. You know what I mean?
Now with with Giannis, I think obviously that was, a little bit childish. I understand that he's excited for his son and it's a big, big win. But be a little classy with it. Let him go. How about if they got eliminated the next round by Cleveland? Then what? All that goes away. The fact that they're having a great run right now, just be proud of that fact. Be proud of the fact that your son is the star in the team that's just won the Eastern Conference. Like, there's no need for that showboating stuff. But it is more. I want to say more part of the game now. Even though you get technicals for celebrating and things like that nowadays, but which is crazy to me. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a little bit of publicity as well for Indiana. So, it could be a good thing for them, bad thing, whatever.
You know what? What's interesting? Indiana's. I'm not even on cap. I think Caitlin Clark and Tyrese Halliburton's dad are the most popular people in Indiana right now, dog. because everybody was shouting out Pops and Caitlin Clark. By the way, she's injured for a little bit. She'll be out. And you know what's crazy? The Indiana Fever ticket prices went from like the lowest was like in the 50s, $50 for a low end ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're down to $4. $4 to watch an Indiana Fever game. That's how big Caitlin Clark is. Crazy.
Yeah, that's insanity.
Crazy work.
That's like MJ status right there. Almost.
That's a fact. But somebody who unfortunately is not MJ, and we got to talk about it, is Anthony Edwards, bro.
Man, I'm upset.
Hefe, man, I gotta have you talk because we've been talking in the DMs. We've been talking about this. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, totally disappointed. But like we were talking, Ant needs to learn to take over games and not and play aggressive all the time. Stop shooting so many damn threes. Like, go to the rim, get the other team in foul trouble. That's what you should be doing. Be aggressive.
Right.
And when he is, it's beyond exciting to watch. Like, see, this guy has ridiculous vertical, but he just doesn't. He settles for the jump shots. He settles for the threes, thinking that's gonna be what's gonna win. No, man. Like, he's not like everybody with the Splash Brothers. They made such a big deal of winning, and it's because they're shooting 53s a game. Yeah, but they're making them. So when you shoot 53s and miss 40 of them, that's how you lose the game. But his game is aggressive and get to the rim, dish it off to the open guy once you get double teamed. So, but that's how you get the other team in foul trouble, especially if you're going, if SGA is guarding you, get him in foul trouble. What are they going to do? Nothing. So, but that's 90 ball talking right there. So I don't know about
you're preaching right now, man. People get in the chat. Let us know. I was so disappointed in Ant in the series because bro ran away from the grind. You know what I mean? And the things that SGA was doing, Ant should have been doing. In other words, you seen SGA foul baiting. That's kind of bad. Let's be real. He be doing too much. He's doing the most. But Ant, what's stopping you from slashing to the rim like SGA? And then you're gonna get fouled because you're an amazing driver of the basketball. You're explosive. You have footwork. You're going to get hacked. And what happens when you get hacked? You're getting them in foul trouble. You're getting yourself in the bonus. You're getting free throws, free points. And as far as Ant goes, is how far the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to go. And by the way, if y'all ain't in the know, you already know what it is. The Minnesota Timberwolves got absolutely destroyed. This started from the first quarter of Game 5, 9 points to 26 in the first quarter, y'all.
It's crazy.
I turned it off. Bro. I was like, I ain't gonna subject myself to this nonsense, man. I found something better to do. I'm like, let me do something else. Dominated because it was really bad. Look at Julius Randle. He actually did something. Ant did nothing. This is kind of like he was bad this game, guys. He was really bad in this game. You flip to the other side, You look at what SGA. I'm really impressed with him this playoffs, man.
The series.
He really has impressed me.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, not the flopping. The flopping is ridiculous. Let's start off with that. But when he's not flopping, he's doing nice mid ranges. When he's not flopping, he's getting steals. When he's not flopping, he's the best player on the planet. Let's not cap. He is playing amazing basketball when he's not flopping. But
When
guess
he's
who
not
else
flopping,
came to the
right.
party? Chet Hanks came to Chet Holmgren came to the party.
Yeah.
Jalen Williams came to the party. Lou Dort, Canadian. Shout out my Canadian from Montreal. You know what I mean? We got Canadians all up in this thing, man, going to the finals. But I was so disappointed in Ant.
Yeah.
There's hope though. There's hope.
Yeah.
Y'all get active in the chat, man. Appreciate y'all. Like the stream and everything like that. There's hope though, and I'm gonna play you this video that gives me some hope.
Like looking at Mike and his longevity, how hard it is to get there. Does that put this in perspective at all too?
Yeah, I'm gonna work my butt off this summer. Nobody's gonna work harder than me this summer. I tell you that much. So, yeah, I'll try to make it happen again for Mike.
And considering,
I like that. I like that. He said that because Mike Conley, I believe, is 37, long time Memphis Grizzlies player, played a bit for the Utah Jazz, now is in Minnesota. He's one of the oldest players in the league, and he doesn't have too much time. You know what I mean? So Ant is saying, I'm going to grind hard this offseason. What do you think happens with Ant this offseason, man? Because I think they might have to reshuffle the team a little bit. What are your thoughts, brother? You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
You know, mentality wise, he can have that mentality of the grind of playing every game because he wants to play every game, right?
Yeah.
Hard and physical and put on a show. But it just seems like sometimes he just kind of fades away from that and kind of like hides behind somebody else, let somebody else take control or whatever. But the type of player that he is, his style of basketball, you can't, like, you need to shine. And the grind that he's talking about, like right now, I think he's just kind of going on his natural talent, right? Guy has the build, the height of everything of just being naturally good. So once he gets that mentality, I guess if you want to call it mama mentality, once he gets that, it's going to be a different show, and he's going to be super scary. But he's 23, right? He's 23 years old.
Yeah, he's young kid, man.
Plus, yeah. So like right now, he has just the confidence, but once he's able to fully back it up, and I would give him about 2 to 3 years before he's in his like prime.
Wow.
And then that's going to be scary. That's going to be scary.
That's definitely going to be scary because SGA himself is 26. He's about to turn 27 this year. Almost 4 years older than Ant. And there were questions about SGA even last season because remember, OKC had the best record last year as well. But they crashed out in, I think, round 2. They didn't even make it to the Western Conference Finals.
No.
And then even coming into this year, and even coming into this year, nobody was really like people respected the Thunder, but nobody like they were like, nah, y'all gonna, you know what I mean? They were like, they're gonna crash and burn again, you know?
Yeah.
But no, and it took SGA losing a few times to finally get to the finals, and I think that's huge. You know what I mean? So what you're saying is he's 2-3 years away. I agree with you, bro. I agree with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Like it's his second year to the conference finals, which is great. Right. So that experience that'll help him. So next year, you know, I don't see him not getting to the conference finals next year. It's just whether or not he can lead the team over that hump. So that's the thing. We'll just see how he is in the offseason. For me, like the offseason, obviously take a break, you know, enjoy yourself for a little bit, but then way before the season starts, you should be in the gym practicing, you should be working out, doing all that stuff to get ready for the season, not getting ready when the season starts, oh shit, I got to get back in shape. Right? No, you should be in shape
Right.
getting into the season. So, but you know, I
There's
don't have
basically
$200 million, so what do I know?
oh man, but you know what's crazy? Just do the opposite of what Embiid was doing. Start doing what this guy was doing. Whatever Embiid is
Oh man,
doing, do the
don't do it.
opposite.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Do the exact
Mhm.
opposite. And I remember, at least when I was watching, like I watched a documentary about Kobe a while back, and Kobe had one specific offseason where he trained super crazy. He went in,
Mhm.
and I think this is when Shaq just came to the Lakers, and his game improved tremendously. He went on streaks, 30-point games, 40-point games. But Kobe put in that work in the offseason, man. And
Yeah.
you see what he became. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that Ant has that potential too. You just have to put in more work than anybody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You have to put up more shots than other guys in your. I'll call Ant is already top 10 in my book, top 10 player right now in the game.
Right
You know what
now.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But in order for you to get in that top 5 category, top 3, you got to put in some work, you know? Yeah.
100%. 100%. Because there's
And
not a lot of guys that are going to stop him in the next few years, right? If he
yes,
puts in that
exactly.
work, if he gets that, like the footwork and the ball handling,
Hmm.
who's going to stop him? Like, it's ridiculous to think that, but
No.
he's just going to be so versatile that he's, I don't want to say unguardable, you know. There's only one person who's unguardable, but
Come on, his name is LeBron James. Thank you. Go ahead.
but that's what I mean. Like, he has that potential to do. A lot of the
Yes.
guys nowadays, like, they're already getting paid. They don't, you know, they don't work as hard. And
Right.
it is what it is. But that mentality, you want to be known, you want to be remembered as a champion, you got to put in that work. So outwork the next guy.
And you know somebody who did put in that work again is SGA, and we're not talking about Ant to down anybody else or down the accomplishment of what actually happened. We saw what happened in 4K. OKC dominated almost every win they had. It wasn't close. A lot of the wins they had on that gentleman sweep were not even close. And I got some commentary from this guy who has horrible takes, trash takes. But when he's right, he's right. And y'all gonna see who. Let's get it, man. this guy.
Great thing about SGA, of the many great things.
Fair use, by the way, fair use. Y'all get in the comments. Let me know if y'all agree or disagree, or if you have comments about this guy. He be wrong a lot, man, but he was
Oh
right.
my God,
He was
like,
very
yeah.
yeah.
I might mute this section right now until he's off the screen.
Yo, Unc is pissed. Like I see that's behind that smile. He's mad. He was right about that. I think he was right. Let's play the content.
What I really like, he is delivering and fulfilling everything I've been told Jason Tatum does, but doesn't really. Last year, the Celtics go on their championship run. Jaylen Brown's the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals. Jaylen Brown's the Finals MVP. And Jaylen Brown's the aggressor and often the initiator. SGA wants the ball, is always the aggressor, and he plays. Williams, Holmgren, he's got multiple great players around him, but he is clearly the alpha. And that's all I ever asked with Tatum and got pushback. You know, I'm holding Jason Tatum to the standard you guys all lectured me on for years on LeBron. When LeBron didn't take the shot, he's the alpha. He's the one. If he wants to be MJ, he's got to always take the shot. Okay, well, that's the standard of SGA and Jokic right now. Like I think both Jokic and SGA can elevate teammates and clearly do elevate teammates. But there is no question in this Oklahoma City room or that Denver locker room or in the huddle or anytime there's a late possession, who's the man?
Oh, what did you think of that, Unc? Talk to us.
All right. First of all, I just want to say, remember, this is the same guy that said the league doesn't need LeBron because Ben Simmons is in the league now. I just want to remember that.
You remember that? You remember that hot garbage? That was so ass.
Oh my! I was like, even me, right? I was like a LeBron critic. That was like, this guy must be out of his mind. Anyway,
He's smoking
but no,
something.
yeah, 100%. But you know what? I think he's right. He's right. Like, we criticize Tatum for not being more aggressive and all that stuff because I want to say he's like a quiet superstar, right? He's that guy that can be second fiddle, but he's still a star. As where SGA, like he said, wants the ball. He wants he leads the team. Same thing with the Joker in Denver. Like, who's gonna get the ball. Whether or not you can stop him is a different story, right? So no, it's for the one of the very few times I agree with him. So
I'm telling you, man, Cowherd is an idiot. He's very good as a broadcaster. I'm gonna give him his credit. He's actually fantastic at that. But it's just hilarious how he can be so wrong so many times and still have a national show, millions of dollars rolling in. I mean, bruh, give us some of that. Let's take some of that.
Right.
Let's have some of that.
Exactly.
We can be wrong too and make some bread, can't we? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I hate to give it to him, but he's right about this take. This was a great take because yes, SGA in the playoffs has been fantastic. He hasn't shrunk in the moment. He's been taking tough shots. He's easily the leader of that team. He's the alpha, as you will say. He's not afraid of taking the last shot. The man average, I'm looking at the stats in the playoffs here. I think then do they look up to date? They look up to date to me. 29 points in these playoffs, 6 assists. He's been getting at least a steal, 1.6 every game. He won the Western Conference Player of trophy. You know what I mean? And he is poised, in my opinion, to probably lift that Larry O. You know what I mean? He has clearly shown himself as a leader, as the alpha of that team. Same thing with Jokic. Jokic, same type of vein. It's no surprise that these two have won the MVP for the past 3 seasons. You all have been pretty much neck and neck in that competition. You know what I mean? And 100%. This goes back to what we talked about, Ant. Ant, if you want to do that, you have to put in as much work as Shea, as Jokic. You have to be that guy. You can't have Julius Randle lead the team in points while you're on the floor, brother. I'm sorry to say. You know what I mean? You can't be second fiddle to Julius MF and Randle. I'm sorry. Oh man. Any last words about SGA before we switch up and talk about some other things, bro?
No, like, he's playing well. Is you can't really say anything bad about him except, of course, the flopping. But obviously that's also blown out of proportion with social media and stuff like that. All the highlights that you see are pretty much just him flopping, but you don't see him do the small things, right? The small things that affect the outcome of the game. But no, well, I think it's going to be an exciting finals. And like I said, I think OKC can run with the Pacers, and that's what I'm excited to see. So they'll have an answer for the Pacers, I think.
You know who really MFing annoys me, dog? This guy. What do we?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing, man? All of a sudden, this is the mascot for the Knicks? That's Spike Lee at. Like, why we have to look at the skinny twig like looking at? Man, I'm going to go with my theory that the Knicks have a toxic fan base. And I'm going to give y'all some more evidence. They had a guy, right? A Pacers player. Right? Not a player. My mistake. A Pacers fan, right?
Yeah.
That they threw garbage at. You know what 100%. I mean? They threw garbage at a Pacers fan, and this is just when they won a random game versus Boston. These guys were pretending like they won the chip after beating Boston with a Tatum who got hurt and messed up his Achilles, bro. Like, what is we doing, man? The Knicks
Mm-mm.
are a toxic fan base. That's my theory, bro. Talk to me, bro.
Oh, there's no. That's not even a theory. That's fact. Like even in the '90s, the New York was always aggressive fan base. Like they've always had that fan base. Now that they get a team that has more wins than losses these last couple of years, they think they're on top of the world again. So yeah, this is ridiculous, man. How are you gonna do that? Like
Crazy.
outrageous. Yeah. But
Like,
yeah,
what
it
are we
just goes to show
doing,
you.
man?
Mhm.
They're all just taping it. They're not even like
Yeah.
what are we doing? Like
Yeah,
my
nonsense.
thing is you can be a fan of your team. You just don't have to like disrespect other guys or other
Yeah.
people, you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
And do you think that this is what people are saying? People are saying the Knicks losing was karma for that. That's what they saying, man. That's
Very
what
well.
the streets are saying, bro.
Nah,
Damn.
that's just no, it is what it is with that, but they lost because they weren't the better team. So, but
That is a
if you want
fact.
to chalk it up to karma, then it sounds better that way, right? Because you don't
Yes, it
like
does.
the fans, the Nick fans, so it sounds better if it's karma because you guys are kind of stupid. But
Hey,
yeah,
that's a fact.
it's not it's not meant to be in sports, in any sport. That just looks
Right.
wrong.
I will say this, man. I think that these finals, because people have been saying that these finals might be like trash in terms of ratings. You know what I mean? They're
Mm-hmm.
saying that Pacers versus Thunder, OKC, is going to be a ratings disaster. They're already downing it. I think personally it's going to be great basketball. I think we're going to see a lot of team basketball, deep benches. I think we're going to see a good amount of defense too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, Unc, man, I'm going to let you get the first strike at the apple, brother. What do you
Yeah.
see and how do you see it? Obviously, clear favorites in this 64.5%. You know what I mean? The game is going to be starting on Thursday, game 1, June 5th. What are your first thoughts, man, on this matchup? Obviously, OKC has home court advantage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you said. I think it's gonna be a fun series to watch. Hopefully, there's no blowouts or anything like that, like there have
Right.
been. But I don't think either team. I think they want to be competitive with each other, and I think they match up really well in regards to, like you said, the bench. They have deep benches and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to be like, oh, one guy takes over. It's going to be team basketball. It's going to be fun to watch. And what's funny is I saw, I think it was House of Highlights, I think, posted something saying, oh, if you didn't see the Pacers OKC final, then you're not a true basketball fan. I was like, what? I'm like, I don't think anybody had the Pacers except for maybe people in Indiana, but nobody had the Pacers in the coming up from the East. So that was kind of funny to me. So I don't know. It may be your ratings because Indiana is not a huge market, right? OKC,
Right.
they're like the Western Conference Celtics. Not a lot of people like them because of like maybe because of the flopping and all that social media stuff. But so ratings wise, maybe they might be a little bit down, but it should be a fun series to watch. So I say maybe 6 games.
You think 6?
I think it's
Oh,
6.
we're gonna get you on the record. We're gonna get you on. You got 6 games. We're gonna have to get the Hefe, the boss, on record, bro. You're saying 6 games. Who's your winner?
I'm gonna say OKC just because of the experience, right? It's a different beast. The NBA Finals is a different beast, and as much as a good run that Indiana is, I don't think they have the poise to keep it in the finals. I know OKC hasn't been there either, but their team has just been playing well for years. So it's not like I don't want to say the Indiana Pacers is a lucky run by no means, but I just think OKC has this in 6.
Ooh, OKC in 6. I'm gonna put it in the chat, man. I'm gonna put it in the chat. OKC in 6. I'm gonna need y'all to let us know your thoughts on who is going to win. And I'm gonna put your quote here. You know what I mean? And we gonna have it written on the record, bro. For me, just to stir ish up, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna go from 30, man. I'm shooting that ball, dog. I'm gonna chucking it up at the buzzer. I'm gonna say Pacers in 7. I'm gonna say Pacers in 7. And you know what? If I'm wrong as hell, I'm wrong as hell. But I will defend my position. I will defend it. The Pacers as a squad, they are really, really deep. And they have multiple players that can go off and let off. We just talked about Pascal Siakam to start the podcast. Siakam is, I think, one of the most underrated players in the league. He has been balling out and been playing great. And I don't see how OKC can match up with him. I think they're going to have a really tough time stopping him. I think he's going to have a great series, personally. You know what I mean? And when Halliburton is hot, in other words, when he's passing the ball properly, when he's just shooting a mid-range and sometimes in 3, he is so hard to stop because he's one of the few point guards that really, really prides himself on passing. It's easy for him to get 15 assists in a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and this is the big if the Pacers keep the score close, we've seen the Thunder fold in the end. You know what I mean? We saw the Denver series, right? We saw a lot of times where OKC, they were tight, man. They were tight. And your boy, Aaron Gordon, night, that classic 3. You know what I mean? You saw moments where they were not themselves. So you have to kind of attack OKC. All I'm saying is OKC can get caught, bro. And the Pacers have proven to me over the past about 2 months we've been in the playoffs. They are better than we think. What are your thoughts, brother?
No, I agree with you. They have the chance, and like I think, like we said at the beginning of the playoffs, nobody expected the Pacers to come out of the East. Nobody, right? But they've been playing so well as a unit that it's nice to see. It's fun to see. It's fun to watch, and it's true basketball. I want to say that, but so they definitely have a shot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not counting out like this is gonna be a blowout. 6 games, 4 games of a blowout. No. It's gonna be tight, and it's gonna be like, and that's what I enjoy to see is
me too.
80, 90 games in the fourth quarter instead of being 120 in the fourth quarter. It's ridiculous, but but the mid range and all that stuff, like with SGA playing the way he's playing, and I don't know. It's gonna be a good series. That's all I can really say. But like I said, I think it's gonna be OKC in 6. So
I like it. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find you're definitely on the favorite side, bro. You at because OKC. I'm definitely gonna keep it real. They're deep as hell too. They play great defense. They play together. That's a tough hill to climb, man. 68 wins over the season, bro. 68 wins? That is no joke. You know what I mean? You don't win 68 games and you ain't elite. In other words, you good as hell. You know what I mean? You are good as hell. But I'm gonna before we wrap up, man. OGs of the game. You know what I mean? Our homie here, the Unk, he puts me up on game on a lot of things, man. And this is his segment. It's time to shine. Who's an OG or some kind of OG storyline of the game that we want to highlight today, or you want to highlight for us today, bro?
It was funny because I was thinking of one the other day, only because I saw an old clip of people saying like how the guys in the 70s or in the 60s wouldn't be able to play in today's era and all that stuff. But what people don't realize is back then they didn't have nutritionists, they didn't have physical therapists, right? They took a bus across the country. It wasn't chartered planes or private planes. So all the luxuries that these players have nowadays, they never did back then. So, but you know, eras are different eras. The game's different, all that stuff. So, but George Gerving is one player who was fun to watch. The master of the finger roll, as they call him. I want to compare him to LeBron and Scottie Pippen of how he played. He was a lanky guy. He was a good defender, and like I said, if you watch clips of him doing his finger roll, it's out. Like I was like jumping from 3-point line and then finger rolling. Like it's outrageous. But his style of play was fun to see. So, and like you can see, he's not an opposing guy. He's not, he's not LeBron. He's not 6'9", 300 pounds. Like he was just a lanky guy, but he was fun to watch. And he was, I want to say he was kind of like Dr. J, where his style was like more finesse. So I don't know. I enjoy watching. I enjoy watching the people like that play with excitement and stuff like that when they do. Like I know the highlights are horrendous, but
they're kind of grainy, bro. A little bit, little tough to watch, man. But I see 44 doing his thing, bro. Yeah.
Like there's no,
Look at the pants,
4K HD.
They're in booty shorts.
Oh my god.
Yeah. They're in booty
the
shorts.
Socks, knee-high socks.
The knee-high socks, bro. What are we doing?
That was coming out of the 70s, I think.
He's a great finisher, though, at the rim, man. Like he's finishing at a crazy level. Yeah. Ooh, okay. Yeah, he has a nice touch. That's something I'm noticing about him.
Very soft around the rim, yeah.
Yeah.
So
there you go, George Gervin.
These highlights are not the greatest, but
But I do like his finishing though. He's purposeful. He reminds me of Jokic too, because Jokic has a soft touch too. He's not really going hard, with his layups. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, shout out George Gervin.
George Gervin. There was one. I don't know if you can find it, but he comes kind of like behind the backboard. Do you remember the Dr. J behind the backboard where he kind of like?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah,
so
of course.
Instead of scooping it, what he did is like he came around the backboard and kind of just finger rolled from the side of the backboard, and you just see it kind of loop up. That was like, what is that? Yeah, it's almost like Clyde Drexler in the early '90s. Same very finesse style play. Look, there's the goat right there. You see him?
Hey man, I don't see LeBron James on the screen. I don't know. LeBron, I don't think was born here. I think he was inside Mama. He was inside Mama James' stomach. I don't know.
No.
But here's some signature finger rolls by George Gervin, and
there you go.
You know what I mean? These people in the 70s and 80s, they really were more fundamental. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Than they had to be. Yeah, no, that's fresh though.
Yeah,
and he's driving in.
They were top.
Yeah. There you go. What the dunks weren't popular back then, right? Or people didn't dunk?
No. People they dunked, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? It wasn't. It was more finesse. So Dr. J was like, I don't want to say obviously Will Chamberlain and those guys dunked, but Dr. J, see there? That was Dr. J. But Dr. J was the one that really started that like highlight reel of dunking. So,
okay. I think this is kind of similar to what you were talking about a second ago, where he kind of goes up and under.
Yeah,
he's like up and under behind it. You know what I mean? And he lets it go at the high point. You know?
Yeah.
Look at it. Lets it go at the high point. So that's hard to block.
It's unblockable. Yeah. That was Kareem. Kareem couldn't block it.
And Kareem was crazy with his block game, yeah. But you see, he puts it so high up. Let's say you're like verting, you're trying to swat it down, it's too high.
And yeah,
I see what
as
you're
he
doing.
finger rolls it, as he finger
Yeah.
rolls it, it tricks you because he thinks it's gonna go here, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh nope, I'll go around. Like, oh, I
Oh,
think this
that's
might be
what's
it.
up, though.
Yeah, look.
Oh, that's it? Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wow. But you know the hang time you need for that? Look at this.
Hmm.
You need good hang. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's fresh, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And it wasn't anything like dominant force. It was just
Right.
finesse. Like it was just finesse. So
Let me actually search up some of his stats because I did hear that his number was retired by the Spurs. So he must have been a legend there. It looks like 25 points per game. Damn, okay. 5.5 rebounds, 2.6 assists. At least from what we see here on Wikipedia, 9-time All-Star, All-Star Game MVP, 5 All-NBA first teams from 1978 to 1981. Scoring champ 4 times. Okay, that's huge. And retired number 44 by the Spurs, all time. Obviously Hall of Fame and also college basketball Hall of Fame. So this dude was dominating his era, man. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
Respect.
That's why I think the Spurs won a couple of titles, I think. If I can remember in the 70s.
It doesn't seem like he
remember.
has a chip, but
He doesn't have a chip.
the
No?
man was
Okay.
clearly a prolific scorer. He was a great scorer, at least from what it looks like. Yeah, you know what I mean.
No, finesse.
I like that. Yeah. Damn. Well, you know what? I like that. Now I gotta look up more George Gervin, man.
Good George
I'll rock
Gervin,
with it.
and
Yeah.
if you want like straight power,
Right.
Chocolate Thunder. Look up Chocolate Thunder. And,
Oh.
I can't remember his name.
Chocolate
This
Thunder.
guy was
Let me see.
yeah. I'm trying to remember his
Daryl
actual name.
Dawkins.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
This guy was
Daryl Dawkins.
straight power. Yeah, he was like the OG power forward.
Say word. Okay. I guess we're getting 2 OGs of the game right
Two
now.
OGs,
You know what I
there you
mean?
go.
Let's do it. I'm gonna search him up. Can you tell me a little bit more about him while I search this up, bro?
He played for Philly mainly, but I think he was one of the first to break a backboard, like to shatter a backboard completely, like in game NBA, not like because you know how Shaq destroyed the entire mechanism. They had to invent some new way for the rims, but this guy would shatter the backboard and he had like a ridiculous vertical. There's one picture where he's about to swat somebody out of the air, and you can barely see the guy because he's so high. Like the camera angle is up on him, and then you can barely see the guy he's about to block. That's how high he got. But he was just straight demolished you with strength. Like it was awesome.
Damn.
Two opposite players, but
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know that's just the beauty of basketball, man. Because you can be all types of shape, size, whatever, and even playing style, and still dominate as long as you know how to use it and play the game. Gervin was not doing this, but Gervin was dominating because he was a four-time scoring champion. You know what I mean? All-star. You know what I mean? But this guy's strong as hell. This guy is giving me Blake Griffin vibes, like power.
Yeah.
Look at that,
one-handed, and look at the rim. The rim is shaking. The whole thing's shaking. He's dunking with one hand. Yeah.
Well, this was like probably this looks like 80s, 70s, maybe
80s,
70s,
yeah,
probably
early to mid 80s, I believe. Yeah.
Wow, around the time when Jordan came in the league, similar, right? Sixers. I'm telling you, man. The more things change, the more they stay the same. You know, there's people who are so finesse now. You know what I mean? But still, there's power guys in the league. It's just like it's such a 3-point game. I don't think that.
Over here. That's where he shatters it.
Holy. Yeah, that'll go viral, bro. That would be viral on TikTok. Yeah, let's run that back. That was fire. What the hell? What the hell? Oh, he just broke the whole. Oh,
everything.
Game Like, do you end the game or do you get a new?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
No, they had to end the game because there's no other way to replace the rim. Look at that.
There's no rim. Oh my God, he did it again. This guy's a savage. This is the greatest day of this white man's life.
Yeah.
It's the greatest day of his life. He's gonna tell his
Greatest
grandkids
day.
about it.
Yeah.
Oh my
The story's
God.
the
That's
story's still
great.
passing on in his household.
Wow.
Look at that. That's just
Yeah,
straight power. Like,
you see the full extension? Like he's bringing everything with that.
yeah.
Yeah, game's over, guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna play
Let's go
another
home.
time. Another one. Oh, he baptized that
How
boy.
high you got? Yeah. How high you
Yeah.
got there? That's crazy.
Ooh.
This
This is
out of
when you
nowhere
know it's
for that.
unfair. A guy this tall with hops like that. Look at this. Yeah,
Off 2
he's
feet.
looking at the rim.
Look at that. He's off 2
Oh,
feet. You don't
it's
get
crazy.
a lot of guys jumping off 2 feet nowadays.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No.
I look at it like
Nuts.
this, man. These legends of the game, we need to really appreciate them while they're here, man. That's why I even brought up this OGs of the game segment, because you know what I mean? Our dynamic, I'm more the younger style, man. You the OG. We need to show respect to the OGs because they laid the path for what type of basketball we see right now. And even though I'm a more younger generation, bro, I effing hate this threes era. I hope we get past it. I don't think it's gonna go for a bit, but you know, the inside game has been so ignored, like gotten out of the way so much. We talked about the midi. We're talking about the mid-range game a few shows ago. I actually think LeBron on his show, Mind of the Game, with Steve Nash, they were talking about the mid-range game and how it's coming back. You know, the midi. You know what I
It
mean?
needs to, yeah.
Do you think there's a chance that the post game or the inside game? I don't think we're gonna have like too many chocolate thunders, but do you think it has a chance to come back? Because everybody's so three obsessed, bro. I don't know. Just some final thoughts. What do you think, bro?
Yeah. I honestly don't think the post game's gonna come back anytime soon. Just because the centers aren't built the same anymore. Like you got the Joker, you got Towns. These guys aren't like, they're tall and big, but they're not physically dominant. Like when Alex Caruso is giving you trouble on the perimeter, what are you doing on the perimeter? Get on the block. You're 4 feet away from the rim, right? But you're getting locked down by a 6'6" guard. Like that's what gets me annoyed, right? I'm like, this guy's 7'2". All he should do is turn around and just little baby hook. Yes, it may not be as stylish or you know, ratings blip, whatever you want to call it, but like that's what basketball was. Is like you can dominate. Like in this era, who's gonna stop Shaq in his prime? Who?
Nobody.
You could not tell me a person that's gonna stop Shaq in his prime if you were to drop him in the game right now. Shaq is averaging 50. Like it's nonsense.
No, that's a fact. But
the mid range, I think.
Yeah. You know who else would dominate this era? I think this guy would dominate this era too, man.
Yeah.
Like, what are they gonna do with Tim Duncan, bro? Like, what are they doing? Like, what are they gonna like? You see it.
Rudy Gobert is gonna stop him.
Yeah, Rudy would get eaten alive by Tim Duncan, man. You know what I mean? And Tim Duncan was like, he had trouble with Shaq, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't, the fundamentals, the size, and he was in the block the whole time. And also Timmy could shoot too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Timmy shot an amazing mid range.
Yeah. But you talking about 5-time champion Tim Duncan, you think they could? No, they can't mess with this guy, dog. You know what I mean? And I think because of the style of game right now, where they let centers or power forwards get in the perimeter, I think he'd even dominate more this era because he's such a great inside player. If they allowed him to shoot more, you don't think he'd have crazy numbers? He'd have insane numbers too. You know what I mean?
Crazy numbers, yeah.
So
they call them Mr. Fundamentals for a reason, right?
Right. Right. And the thing is, sometimes I'm more impressed with players who play below the rim. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
that demands so much technique. Like for me,
Mhm.
I'm 5'8", man. I'm not gonna be Daryl Dawkins. I'm not gonna be doing the slap. I'm not gonna be doing that. But maybe I can get crafty. I can maybe do some, some moves and kind of think in the head of what I'm gonna do next against my opponent. You know what I mean? And I always appreciated guys like who play more of a thinking man's game rather than, you can definitely be physically dominant, and this comes back to what we were talking about earlier about Ant. Ant, of course, you can physically dominate a game,
Yeah.
but start using your head a bit more and get a little more crafty. I think that would take him to the next level. Even LeBron took it to the next level once he stopped basing himself on his just physical gifts. He still has them, but he has to be more wise of what he's doing and think more. And obviously that's my favorite player. I have to ride with him, but I want Ant to do something similar this summer, bro. You know what I mean?
Mhm. No, 100%. 100%. But like,
One le-
look who averaged the most points in the playoffs. You can not going to tell me that they shot more than 23s a game. You're not going to tell me that. It's mid range.
Right.
Yes, they took a couple of long shots, but the mid range game is where it's at. The highest scoring average in the playoffs by mid range and getting to the rim. Like, you're never going to tell me. Like, and that's why I got so excited when Halliburton won that game with a layup. Like, to me, that's getting to the rim, right? So me, the 3-point game needs to change. It was exciting when Curry and Clay were dropping them like it was
Splash
nothing,
Brothers.
right?
Yeah.
But not everybody's them, and the fact that people are still trying to be them is a problem. So including your boy.
It's definitely a problem. I think the shift is slowly starting to happen because the two best players in the game, they don't rely on the three ball, man. You're talking about Joker and SGA. They rely definitely in the mid range, definitely, and they have other attributes like Jokic's passing. That makes him such a great player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
SGA's free throws and mid range game. But before we finish this off, man, we got to talk about a tragic loss, man. They're going to ESPN, man. Oh,
yeah.
Talk to us,
Horrible.
chat. Talk to me, man. What do you feel about this, man? I personally, I fucking hate it. But go ahead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. Like, these guys are staple, right? Everybody goes to TNT to watch it. Like, decades that they've been doing this show. So it's gonna. I don't know. I don't even know who the analysts are for ESPN. Like, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
But I don't know. It's a sad end of an era.
You know what it is, man?
I don't even know what to say.
It's you know what it is? It's unfortunately it's the Disney is underneath the mouse, right? So the mouse is sorry, ESPN is underneath Disney, which is the mouse. My bad. I said it wrong.
Yeah.
And if you look at what they've been giving out, it's mid to garbage, man. And you know what? When you have such a I'm not disrespecting these guys or these people, you know what I mean? But when you lost these guys, I really love Mike Jackson and
Mark Jackson was
Van
great.
Gundy.
Yeah.
They were great. They were fantastic, and they got dropped. You know what I mean? They were some of the best commentators, right? And your main guy is Kendrick Perkins, bro. Like, what are we doing? This is such a downgrade. But here you have Ernie, Charles, Jet, Shaq, hilarious show, great broadcasting. And what TNT did is they let them be them.
Yeah.
But now you're underneath the mouse of Disney, and that's a family brand. You know what I mean? You get a different product. And I personally have a beef with Disney because they've been releasing hot garbage Marvel movies, bro. Like, what are they doing? like the quality just went like so low. It's like everything that goes to Disney now sucks, or like it's weak, you know. Like I don't. Do you think I don't? Okay, prediction time. Do you think the dynamic's gonna be the same? I don't know, man.
Not even close. Like the chemistry that those guys built, it's not forced chemistry. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like, they've known each other for so long and they played in the league together. And like
Yeah.
Ernie just knows basketball. Whatever you
Yes,
want
he
to say about him, he knows basketball. So he fit in
Mhm.
with them because they respected him for his knowledge. Right? He was
Yep.
never a player or anything like that, but they respected him for his knowledge base. So, and the fact that the guy was Jays as well, obviously, instead of LeBron.
His
but,
Jay's on point.
yeah.
You
But
know,
like, come on, Perkins, like, I don't know. But the thing with Disney is just like they without sounding too controversial, they throw out stuff that they think people want to see instead of providing what people want. Right? They're like, no, you don't want that. You want this, and then they'll force things down. Like you said, the Marvel movies, Star Wars movies, like they lost a huge chunk of fan base, especially on Star Wars, because of shows like The Acolyte, the sequels to the last three sequels that came out. Like, if you look at that, right, the I don't want to say the least popular because they ended up being more popular than the big projects they had, but the small projects that were written by the fans of Star Wars, like the actual people that know the lore and do all that stuff, like Skeleton Crew, Andor, like these are phenomenal shows, and keep the lore of Star Wars together. As we're like, the Acolyte was just a garbage show, and it didn't keep a good timeline of what we have been given for almost 50 years of Star Wars. They kind of just took that and threw it away. And for what? Like, we want a new generation. You have a new generation. My kids love Star Wars, right? They enjoy it. We have a Star Wars marathon on Christmas. So like,
this what's up.
You have that generation of coming up, but when you're ruining the main product, you're gonna lose the generation you're trying to get. So, but yeah, that's what happens with the broadcasting too. Is like, you take away something that everybody knows, that everybody enjoys, and you replace it with something forced. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna get the ratings you want.
And that, you know why we love Inside the NBA? It's because it's low key. Let's be real. It's a comedy show, bruh. It's a comedy show. Charles is roasting Shaq. You know what I mean? Shaq is talking all about his rings. You know what I mean? Ernie's trying to keep it together. You know what I mean? It's like, it's classic, dog. You know what I mean? You feel like you're chilling with the homies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're chilling with the homies, y'all having some drinks, and y'all talking smack about basketball. Yeah, who doesn't love doing that? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Who doesn't love doing that with the bros? And when you bring in the MFing mouse, and I call it the mouse, because this mouse done corrupted a lot of intellectual properties, such as Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars guy myself. I love Star Wars. You know what I mean? And because I heard so many bad things about the Acolyte, I never watched it. I might try Skeleton Crew. You know what I mean? I heard actually good things. I heard good things about Andor, so I might give them a shot. But even the sequels, bro, that happened, like those three, garbage. Like, there's no rewatch value. I watched them when they came in theaters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But bro, after that, I'm like, no, I'll watch episode 1, bro. Like, I'll watch the other ones first, bro, and I'll keep on watching them again. Empire Strikes Back, I love that ish, man. And New Hope, I'll watch that, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's just the thing. Like, I know we're a little off topic with the Star Wars,
but
good.
Yeah, let's go.
When George Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney, he already had those 3 sequels. The story for them was already kind of written, and it involves the return of Darth Maul as the main villain for those 3, and the story just kind of went from there. But as soon as Disney took it, they're like, hey, let's do the original 3, but instead of having a guy, it's a girl. So, like, it's a girl from the desert who's force sensitive. Like, how did she even know how to use the Force? How does she even know what it is? She's an orphan on a desert planet who has a robot buddy, right? So
Right.
they kind of just reuse what the original Star Wars was. So it's like there's no offense to the actors in the movies by no means, but the
No.
story just lacks. So it's like they don't have enough to go with to make the movie good, right? So I don't know.
Right. And you know what? I'll just say this, man, because we're basically in Star Wars talk, but we gonna dip set in a
Change the
minute,
subject.
man. We gonna change it again. But I hate how they did this character, man. Because dude was acting, he was acting his ass off. I liked his acting, the actor. But the
Mhm.
dude's story was ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they made him so OP at the very beginning, and then at the very end, for him to literally just be a copycat of Vader, literally, like copy
Yeah.
and paste. Okay,
Yeah.
get creative though, and actually have guidance from George Lucas, the original guy who did it. Look at his vision,
Mhm.
because I thought bro was actually gonna be a good villain or at least a great character. Turned out to be
Yeah.
trash. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
again, let's link this up to what we're talking about, which is inside the NBA. We
Mhm.
saw the history of what Disney has done to multiple IPs, intellectual properties, bro. You know, we just talked
Yeah.
about Star Wars. We can go on about Marvel, but yeah, I don't want to keep y'all here for 2 hours. You know what I mean? We have lives.
Dude, we got like 4 hours to go on that one.
Yeah, we might need an extra. We might need an extra pod to really break that stuff down. If y'all want us to break it down, like the stream, get in the chat. We might have to. We might have to do a side project, like a one-time shot, one-shot podcast
Yeah.
about that. But again, the chat, we don't like this ish, man. Personally, I think I learned and I did a little bit of research. It's because TNT didn't renew their contract, right? Or their
Yeah.
contract with the NBA. So now the NBA is leaving that network, TNT. The only kind of cool thing on TNT was basketball. And I personally like AEW. I like wrestling. I'm getting back into it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And those were the two reasons you could even watch a TNT product, bro. You know what I mean? And when you
Yeah.
lose something of that value and it gets scooped up by an organization that don't care about fans but cares about the bottom line. I care
Yeah.
about money. We all care about money. We're adults, we're human beings. But make it about the people and the quality, bro. Make it
Yeah.
about the content quality. And you know when they go to ESPN, they're gonna be censored. You already know. You know they can't make the same jokes, man.
No, not even close.
You
Not
feel
even
me?
close. Yeah.
You feel me? And that's what's frustrating, man, because ESPN is, oh man, they just f things up.
Yeah.
I'm just ranting and raving. Any final words, OG, before we peace out on these people, man? Smash that like button, people, and let us know in the chat your thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, I'm excited for the finals. I think it's the first
Mm,
one in a few years that I'm actually looking forward to see. I already have my date set for my buddies where we get together and watch a game for the last I
nice,
think it was 5 years. So
nice.
you know it'll be fun to see, and I'm actually gonna start trying to keep up with each game instead of just
Nice.
kind of watching reruns or whatever of it. But we'll see. With
Right.
work, it's a little hard, but I don't know. OKC in 6, as much as I want,
Oh,
it's a divide. It's a
yeah,
divide, but
yeah,
that 65 to 34 percentage, I think it's too much of a gap. I think Indiana deserves a little bit more percentage in
yeah.
that pie, but I still think OKC is coming on top. So
I like it, man. For me, y'all hold me to it. I got Pacers in 7. Hey, man, it's a long shot. We shooting from 30, y'all. And I do have also, I'm planning to catch, I think, at least 2 of the games at a bar with the homies. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Unc, you already know you always invited, man. You know what I mean?
How about-
We're gonna be at Moxie's, the one right next to Cineplex. That's
okay,
usually our little spot. You know what I mean?
on the
So
spot.
it's
Okay.
gonna be a good time. All I want again is great basketball. Obviously, I'm
Yeah,
not a fan of either team. I just want to watch good ball. You know what I mean? Just
exactly.
want to watch
Yeah.
good hoop. and hopefully that's what we get. We might actually do like our last stream, maybe after a game, maybe a post game stream. So y'all stay tuned to that. I'll keep y'all notified. You know what I mean? I'll post series stream, you know what I mean, to finish off the season. Let's say it ends in 4 or 5. We'll coordinate and we'll keep y'all. I know I saw your face when you said that in 5. Oh.
I was like, no,
Hey,
no,
if it does end in 5, if it ends in 5, it's probably OKC. Let's keep it a bean. You know what I mean? But let's see what happens. We appreciate y'all, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing us love, supporting, smashing that like button. Chat ain't too active, but that's all good. I hope y'all get active in the replay. We appreciate y'all for spending the time, man. And it's been an Unconfused Hoops edition. We out.
Oh,
Peace.
nice.
Gang, 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 gang.